Every man deserves to know his T levels. Step into Game Day Men's Health Solon and get tested on us. No guesswork, no waiting, just real answers.
T level's important.
The Cavs may need to go there.
It is.
Can we get the Cavs an appointment?
Yeah, they took that test in Solon, and they came back
testosterone
very low. Yeah. Very low. It said VLT.
Testosterone.
If you know, you know. Very low testosterone.
Hey, no, they need steroids.
Yeah, they need something because...
Where's the clear and the cream?
My goodness.
Is the clear and the cream still available?
Balco Lab scam. It was so difficult to watch because... Man. They went on, I believe, a 10-0 run in the fourth quarter, and it looked like, because I felt like what this game was, I'd predicted 5. I thought Toronto would win game 3 because of the crowd. Yeah. Then I thought the Cavs would reassert themselves. It looked to me like they were, they hadn't went for the switch, and then they went on the 10-0 run in the fourth, and I'm like, okay, this is where
it's over.
They dagger them, and
I think we all thought that. Yeah.
And then it was like someone opened the door to the arena, and they all just left.
It was
simultaneously. And Donovan Mitchell, by the way, who's always complaining about, we got to do better in the playoffs, judge us by what we do in the playoffs. Okay, I don't think you want that. Could Donovan Mitchell play any worse than he did last night?
I mean, 2 games in a row. He and Harden have been awful. Harden and Mobley have been just
6
horrible.
For 24.
Crazy.
Like you have to think about this. Now go back. We talked about when they got eliminated against the Pacers. One of the main plays that when they got eliminated was the simple fact that they had an 8-second count.
Yeah,
in
right.
the backcourt
Happened again.
at home.
Happened again.
It happens again. Bro, you can't.
In the biggest spot in the game.
The nonchalant nature. I could just hear my high school basketball coach screaming at the top of his lungs, and he's screaming, guys, you need to meet force with force.
How about that effort play, G?
Look at that. You have to be intentional. Right there. Who wants to win? Look at the body language. Look at how they're desperate right now. And guess what? The referee gave them the benefit of the doubt because they were the aggressor. Get the ball up court. James Harden, what are you doing? Get out the way. Like, clear out. Get the ball up court. This is high school.
It's inexcusable. It's funny you say high school because the first 3 quarters of the game, it was like watching a high school or a college game where you go back and forth and nobody can score. Yeah. And I don't even think, teams play decent defense, but I think it was just neither team could make a basket. It was terrible. And as you said, Jay, the Cavs got on that run there. Donovan hit it Donovan, who had done nothing, got hot for a couple of minutes, knocked down a few baskets. I think he had 10 points in a 5-minute stretch, and we all said, okay, they messed around for 3 quarters, and now they take care of business. And then between the intentional foul that was questionable and that play that you showed, G, with the 8 seconds, those 2 plays, it was like the Cavs just completely cratered after that. They couldn't make a shot. They didn't even take good shots. Their defense fell apart at the end. And let's face it, guys, the Raptors were the tougher team. They're not the more talented team, but they're the tougher team. They punched the Cavs in the mouth, and the Cavs spit blood and cried and went home. That's what happened in this game.
That's a pretty good analogy, Bull. Toronto's doing all this without their point guard.
It's amazing.
We're at full strength. When we went into the playoffs, we're like, hey, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
This is why it's particularly distressing. And I do think the Cavs are going to hold on and win this series.
They probably will.
I think they will. I'm not sure, but I think they will. But here's why this is very troublesome to me. The playoffs are a dog test.
Yep.
It's a gut check. It's a heart test. What do you have?
Mentally.
And you're talking about a team who for the last 2 years flamed out early, below expectations.
Yeah.
And after each loss, the last 2 years, Donovan Mitchell sat at the table and basically said, I don't want to hear about any regular season anymore.
Right.
We are judged solely by what we do in the playoffs. Now, they've got a chance with the ball, with the lead, with 45 seconds to play.
Yeah.
And it's in his hands. What else could you ask for?
Nothing.
He's the guy that everybody is saying, if this year doesn't end in a long playoff run, that the team's going to be dismantled because Donovan Mitchell wants more in the playoffs. Donovan, it's in your hands, and you fumbled it. And there's nobody to blame. There's nobody. This was a team loss. You always win and lose as a team.
Yeah.
I thought the coaching was suspect. I think, by the way, if we're going to grade the coaches for the 4 games,
Yeah.
our coach is way on the downside of this. He has been outmaneuvered. He's been out-schemed. I thought the team that made – game 1 is always, okay, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. You're going to punch me in the mouth, and we're going to see where we have to make adjustments. Toronto has made the adjustments. They're winning the coaching battle, and I don't even think it's close. And Donovan Mitchell, a guy who basically was begging for the playoffs to come back around so we can show you that this wasn't a fluke, is showing us that it wasn't a fluke. And this is who you are.
Yeah, and like for your 3 best players to all play terribly, like it's just hard to fathom. It's not like we thought, or the Toronto's going to pull off an upset. They got to shoot the lights out. They didn't.
No,
they shot poorly.
That is. Remember, we spoke before the season, this series, and I said, Toronto's not going to be able to make threes, and I said, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, guess what? Basketball is not all. I hate when people say this. Yeah. It's Mr. Make League, because that gives you an out card. What that does is say, hey, if we're not missing shots, we don't have to do anything well. We don't have to do any other things to win. Yeah. Guess what? You allowed how many offensive rebounds? What, almost 20? Guess what? How many turnovers did you have? 17, 8.
Turnovers were ridiculous.
By the way, the Cavs had more turnovers than assists in this game. Think about that for a second.
It's disgusting.
How often does that happen?
And James Harden, listen.
Almost never. Boy.
James Harden.
Almost never.
Let me talk to you, James.
Oh, my God. He was terrible.
It's a difference between being calm and being nonchalant. You are a guard. You are a point guard. You and Donovan Mitchell got to get y'all stuff together in terms of these turnovers. The careless nature of throwing the ball and just putting it in harm's way and it's way too much loosey-goosey stuff. The stuff in the backcourt. And furthermore, you cannot. I know Scottie Barnes is a good defender. But you got to be intentional with your dribble. He's out here blanketing you guys. That is supposed to be a mismatch. He's not only doing that, he's guarding your guards, causing turnovers, and then he's on the other end doing exactly what he wants to Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley has been thoroughly outplayed by Scottie Barnes in this series. And if you got your top 3 players and they can't do nothing, and you guys are wilting under this pressure, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Toronto think that they got this series.
Oh yeah, they're confident right now.
Look, they've got momentum.
Yeah,
and I still think the Cavs are going to win the series, but they've given Toronto confidence and hope that they can't. Right. All they got to do is come in here and take one, because I don't see us beating them there. I don't. Their crowd's too good.
I think they lost game 3. We're like, okay, you're going to drop one. What are you going to do? But that was so startling yesterday, and just the way they lost.
Mike, I'm going to make a statement. This might be a Duke of knee-jerk statement. This might be hyperbole after a disappointing game, but I'm going to make this statement, and I want you to respond. Am I on base? It's not talent. It's not talent. You're not going to win an NBA championship without talent, but you're also not going to win an NBA championship without grit and heart and fight. And over the last 3 years in the playoffs, I have decided that this team has none of those 3.
None.
They do not have grit, they do not have heart, and they do not have fight. Now, they have talent, and on paper, when you look at their roster, you're like, oh, this is a conference championship at least team. A conference championship at least.
Yeah.
This could be an NBA championship team if what doesn't show up on the roster sheet or in any of the measurables, they are high in grit, they are high in fight and heart and guts, and they got none of it. And I don't see them ever making a deep playoff run as constituted.
I think you're right, Jay. You see these other teams, and if you're a casual basketball fan, maybe you don't know all the names. But all these other teams seem to have 1 or 2 guys that bring a level of intensity and energy to get the other guys
raise
fired
their level
up.
of play.
Yeah, and
who on the Cavs has played better than their talent level?
Nobody.
You know who the
Not
answer
this
is? And I'm not making a joke. It's been Dean Wade.
Oh, stop.
Dean Wade's been their best player in this series.
His level of expectation.
Well, that's right. Compared to his expectation, he's been the only guy.
I know Bull agrees with me, and I don't want to be too harsh and overreact.
No, I got a number for you.
I don't see anything in the.
I don't want to hear about plus minus, Mike.
No, it's nothing to do with plus. Bull, this is gonna be a stat that you like because it backs up what you're saying.
Yeah.
This morning I taped. There's a 7-minute video. I picked 7 plays from the game yesterday that cannot happen. I illustrated why they can't. It's on our YouTube page. Go find it. It's too long. We're not going to play it in here. I'm not talking Dean Wade, Steve. Drop that. I have a stat for you. I can't have Dean Wade on the screen for this. This illustrates some of the toughness, heart, dimension, all the stuff you just talked about, Jay. You ready?
Yeah.
through the playoffs so far. So as of this morning, the Cavaliers lead the NBA in defensive box-out percentage this postseason. 90.9%. Compare that to the regular season.
What does that mean exactly?
Just let me finish this, Bull. Please let me finish this stat before you ask the question. You'll get it when it makes sense.
Okay.
They lead the NBA in the postseason in box-out percentage, 90.9% box-out rate. In the regular season, the Heat led the NBA in defensive box-out rate, 84.7%. So they're better than even the best team in the regular season.
Yeah.
However, they're 14th out of 16th in defensive rebounding percentage at 65.5%.
Wow.
That means, despite the fact they are boxing people out and in theory in the right position, they're getting bullied, they're getting out-toughed. Those 50-50 balls are all going Toronto's way, and that shows in a statistical form. It's not exactly apples to apples.
Yeah.
Those are the little 50-50 plays that can swing a game, and in a game like yesterday, where it was an offensive, I mean, it set offensive basketball back 100 years. It was the first time since 2015 neither team in the first half reached 40 points in a playoff game. It was that bad. Those extra possessions, turning those box outs into actual rebounds. It's one thing to box out. If you don't turn that box out into an actual rebound, you're defeating the purpose. The fact that they're boxing out 91% of the time and only getting the defensive rebound 65% of the time is inexcusable.
So let me ask, it seems like they've put an emphasis on boxing out and winning that stage of the play. But that's a two-stage play.
You got to finish it.
The boxing out is just the first part of it.
gotta
The
finish
second
the
part
play.
is getting your hands on the basketball. To me,
Yes.
it sounds they're almost so focused on getting their rear end in the player and backing him away that they're, okay, we won that battle, and then the effort part of that play is getting the basketball,
McNuggets.
and they're not completing the deal.
Yesterday was disgusting.
Do you remember the drill,
disgusting.
McNuggets? We all remember it.
We called it hamburger hell. Everyone calls it something else. But you can't get out till you get the rebound.
Yeah, right.
It's the single worst drill in the history of human. No, it's a great drill. I hated it because I sucked at rebounding.
Yeah.
But
So
it's a great drill.
they put the ball, the coach is in the middle of the floor. He's going to throw the ball or drop the ball, and then you have to box somebody out. But the guy that is you boxing out is going to beat you like hell. He can throw you down. He can push you. And it is a fight to see who gets the basketball. And unless
Effort.
and I hated the drill because like the bigs are going against big guys and it's like anything is going. And so they're not going, the possession is not over until you secure the basketball. And you just can't be a guy, I'm in my position. It's not enough people on the floor. It's not enough bodies on the floor. It's not enough. If you come out of that football game or that basketball game, because Toronto's playing like it's football, I need to see bruises. I need to see ankles being taped. It don't look like nobody for Cleveland and the Cavs should have even need treatment.
You mentioned that, Scottie Barnes is better, has played better than Evan Mobley, and you're right. And here's the thing. Scottie Barnes has way more on his shoulders than Evan Mobley
Facts.
does.
Absolutely.
So Evan Mobley is put in a position to succeed because he's the third guy.
He's got other players around him.
Right. Scottie
Barnes has to do everything.
carry the
And he has another big next to him in Jared Allen. And the Raptors are out rebounding the Cavs, and they're small.
Yeah, big
it's
time.
amazing.
They're undersized.
It's
look
amazing.
at that. Evan Mobley is like a front runner. When the other stars are when Donovan and James are playing well, Evan plays well. When they don't play well, he turtles.
He just disappears.
Every time you start to believe in him, like after the first two games of the series, I'm like, okay, if Evan plays like this, every time you start to believe in him, he goes in the opposite direction. Yeah. And he was awful in these two games. And yes, Donovan was awful and Harden was awful, and they all deserve blame, but I thought everybody stunk. Yeah. Sam Merrill was okay yesterday.
Shout out, and who pointed Kenny Atkinson out? Stop giving these guys built-in excuses. Like, he needed to come up there and say, we got destroyed. We got punked.
Yeah.
We got our manhood taken a little bit. And guys in his locker room, I'm tired of the Cavs saying, oh, it's a long series. Hey, we'll get them. Got to take care of home court. No, bro. I want to see somebody with some emotion take some accountability and say, what happened tonight is unacceptable.
The Raptors played as if the season was on the line.
And it was.
Cavs did.
Yeah. You're right, it was. Because the last thing they want to do is have to come back to Cleveland down 3-1.
But you
Game
would
5
think in
will
the
happen Wednesday,
playoffs
by the
that
way.
every team would play that way all the time. It doesn't happen.
They
but-
should.
Yeah.
They should. And that, again, is a measure of your grit
Yeah.
and your heart. And they don't have it. They just don't have it. And I don't know where you
Until
find it.
proven
I think,
otherwise,
I think
yeah.
that's a DNA trait. You're
And I
born
got
with
no
it,
defense anymore.
You don't find it.
I got no defense.